Hello, everybody. It's Sarah from Sarah Long Marketing Strategies, and I'm here with my amazing client, Joan. We're here to talk about her experience in Sales Volume Marketing Machine. Hi, Joan.
No.
Hi. Okay, well, so really quickly, just tell us, where were you at before you came into the program?
So I'd been selling real estate for 27 years and was pretty successful in the top 10% of my market, but I felt a little stuck as far as I wanted my pipeline to be more regular and more to the point. Most of my business was by referral, which was great. That's a wonderful way to get ideal clients. But I knew there were people out there who were my ideal clients that didn't know I existed. And that was frustrating. I wanted to have a broader reach because I knew there were more people who would really benefit from my particular style. And I wanted a way to let them know that I was there. And since the program, my business has increased and I have expanded my reach in ways that I really wasn't expecting. It was like, oh my gosh, that actually worked. Not that, which, it's amazing when things work the way they're supposed to. So, yeah, I'm really thrilled.
Awesome. And I want to call out something that like when you sent me an email just the other day, it was one of the most hilarious and perfect emails I might have ever done. I want to find the right your exact language here. What did you say? You said I have an inherently non-compliant personality, which just made me laugh so hard. So I'd love for you to speak a little bit about what you've tried in the past that made you feel like that, and then what was it like in the program with us walking through the various parts of it.
Right. So I'm a great person to be self-employed because I can't deal with people telling me what to do. And I have always sort of thought of myself as inherently uncoachable because I like to do my own thing and I like to do my own thing in my own way. I've never invested in any kind of professional development, in any kind of like, I've gotten this far in the business with no advice whatsoever other than my own common sense and creativity, which has gotten me a really long way. But I realized that I needed some exterior input. And so what I found was that what I was being given in the program was adaptable to my personal style. So the thing that doesn't usually work for me with coaching is the often there's like, I mean, I hate to say this, but I don't know any other way to put it. There's like a cult like thing with even a lot of business coaching where it's like you have to drink the Kool-Aid, and I'm just not a Kool-Aid drinker. And when I saw your ad on Facebook, one of the things, which is where I found you, one of the things that caught my attention was that there was a focus on direct mail marketing, which I know to be a really powerful tool because, so just to back up, I've been business partners with my parents for a really long time until they phased out of the business, and they really built their marketing or their market on farming.
Mhm.
But they were doing it in a specific way that they learned in the 90s and early 2000s, which wasn't responsive to the current market and also didn't reflect my own personal style because it was their thing that they had built. So when I saw that one of your focuses was direct mail marketing, which is not a thing that is coached very often, I thought, well, I think the basic skill set is going to be a good fit for me. And I didn't get that you must drink the Kool-Aid feeling. I got more of a, this is a really solid, proven information kind of thing, and that I could probably use it in the way I needed to. And that did in fact prove to be the case. I also found that there were parts of the program that I just didn't need because I'm a very confident salesperson and a very confident advocate. And so there were parts of the program that I just ignored because I didn't need them. But I didn't feel like, but it was also very clear to me that if I had been a different person, those would have been immensely valuable, like so valuable if that hadn't already been stuff I knew. So I really feel like every aspect of the program is extremely tailored to the way people should be doing business. It's very ethical, it's very grounded, it's very authentic. And I think it supports people in being the best version of who they are, which is how you have to show up in this business because it
Yes.
is a relationship business. It's like you're exchanging property, but what you're really doing is it's a life process, and I think all of the things that you do really support people in showing up as their authentic selves for that process.
Here, here. I can't agree more. It's so important to be able to put your own touch on it. And the way that we like to describe it is, say we figured out that every agent needs to have the best chocolate chip cookies ever. You bring your own flour, your own butter, your own sugar, your own kind of chocolate chips to the equation, and then we help you make it into your best ever chocolate chip cookies. Because there's so many coaches out there that are very much my way or the highway. Like, just read this script, bang it out on these phones. And if that was really going to work, like, then you just follow a script and be a magical millionaire overnight.
Right, exactly. I was so glad that, and I'm also delighted that my intuition almost always works. Like when I saw your thing on Facebook, I was like, I just got a really good hit from you personally, and my gut is like 99.999% correct. And I had never gotten that feeling before from any other coaching program or idea that I had been exposed to. I always got a no. Kind of thought, and I thought, you know what? I'm different about this. I'm going to take this jump and see what happens, and I'm so glad that I did.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you did too. And one of the things that you mentioned was that before you were at what, like 75% or 50% buyers and sellers, and now you're at 75% sellers, 25% buyers. So tell me a little about that, especially because right now, with everything that's been going on for the last, what, like year and a half or two with the NAR lawsuit and now settlement, it's so important to have so much more market control and be able to get the commission that you actually want to be getting. So tell me a little bit about what that's like for you.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. I started the program the week that the settlement came down, which was an interesting place to be in the market and just in general. But so yeah, so before I started, the my business was about 50-50, and I will say when I started the program, I was super resistant to the idea of becoming seller focused. I didn't like the idea. And but because I could see that the program made sense in a lot of ways, I decided to like really sit with that and think, why don't I want to focus more on sellers? Because it was clear to me that I have a lot more control over my time, and it's not that it's less effort, it's that I have more control over how I expend that effort. You know, when you're working with buyers, you're very much at their beck and call, and you have to be. You have to be responsive in a very specific, unpredictable way. At least in my market, I'm in a really fast market, and so it's like it's now or never a lot of the time, which means that I never know what I'm doing from day to day, and I never know where I'm going either. And so that becomes, you know, I really reached a point in my career where I'm like, okay, I want to scale up the volume of my business, and it's impossible to do that when you don't know what you're doing from day to day. Like greater volume the way I want to do it, because I'm an absolute control freak and I don't outsource hardly anything. I mean, I hate to admit that, but it's true. So volume, I need more control over my time, right? Because I can't have, if I've got 50 buyers who all need me to be in different places at 50, I mean, it's pretty clear to even with minimal analysis, I can't scale my business up that way, right? So I had reached that conclusion and then started thinking about, so where am I stuck here as far as really wanting to work with buyers rather than sellers? What is this?
Mhm.
And I realized that part of it was lack of confidence in not in my skill set. I know I'm really good at what I do, but lack of confidence in presenting that skill set. So when I'm working with buyers, I can have a 30-minute conversation with somebody where they're like, oh my God, of course I have to work with you, because it's a different type of relationship. It's with sellers, you have to, well, you have to sell yourself first as far as what you can do. It's more with buyers, it's more obvious as far as how you can work with them. If you're just talking to them, with sellers, they want to see what you can do. And my presentation materials were good, but they weren't knocking people flat, which is what I could do by simply talking to a buyer. You can't talk to a seller and knock them flat. You have to show them. You have to like put your cards on the table. And so I realized that what I needed was the materials to give me the same level of confidence with sellers that I already had with buyers. And when I saw what you were doing, especially with what you refer to as your shock and awe packet, which there was stuff in there that I was like, oh my God, that is the best idea ever. That is so brilliant. I mean, it's so great. I mean, even things like um, your suggestion to put post-it notes on things with handwritten notes. I got a listing earlier this week. I went to a printer and had personalized post-it notes made, which not everybody wants to do, but I wanted to do that. And I got the listing because she said, I loved those notes and I loved your handwriting. So it's like that personal, the combination of just really dynamite marketing materials with that personal touch gives me that same in with sellers that I have with buyers. It's like, it's that combination of warmth and hyper competence that is, it really makes an impression. And so I found once I know I'm making that impression, I have the same level of rapport with sellers that I've always had with buyers, because I feel like I've led with my best thing. Like with buyers, I could do that just by talking to them. With sellers, I needed to lead with something visually extraordinary. And now that I do that, I'm like, it's just as much fun to work with sellers because I'm coming into it from a very different vantage point. And that was gold.
So a couple really key things in there that I want to pull out that you talked about are you know what you're doing. You have the confidence, you know how to talk to clients, how to interact with people. You've been doing this for a long time. And being able to market effectively to a new base is so different. And so when you have the right tools, the right processes, the right copy, the know-how for doing that to be very impressive, it changes the ball game. And then you're looking at knocking out the competition and completely winning over the hearts of these new people that you're expanding to. And I think that's so huge, especially for the agents that we work with that are like you. You're more established. It's not like you've never done a transaction before, but you want to be able to do more with your business.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's been great.
Awesome. Well, so I'm really curious what you feel like your key takeaways are, that if you were going to tell somebody who's thinking about changing up their business, especially in light of the problems that we're facing with real estate right now, with lower inventory, higher rates, fewer days on market, which is making, especially going after buyers, that much more challenging. And one key thing on that we haven't really touched on yet is that when you have the listing inventory, you can still get the buyers if you want to. You can still do open houses and do the listing marketing to generate more interest with that. You can still get that market share, but when that's how commerce works, the buyers have to buy something. So when you own that inventory, it's a very different conversation. But I'm curious, what's your like key takeaway that you would want people to know that are feeling kind of stuck right now based on your experience here in Sales Volume Marketing Machine?
So I think the key takeaway for me is that the right tools that are enacted in the right way, like if you use them correctly, if you use them strategically, there's more to what's possible than you realize. Like there really shouldn't, with the right tools, there really shouldn't be any such thing as being stuck, right? And that if you are stuck, it's because you don't have the right tools. And these are the right tools. This, if you're looking at a stone wall, this is a grappling hook, a ladder, a bunch of chisels, and maybe even like a giant steamroller. I mean, it's true, right? I mean, there is the obstacles exist because you don't have the tools to dismantle or overcome them.
Mhm.
And so I mean, I entered the program with very few expectations because I'm inherently not only non-compliant but wildly skeptical of everything all the time. So I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put my best effort into it. I don't expect anything. And so to actually have these really quantifiable results, if it can work for somebody like me who is like, I'm not doing half of this and I don't think it's going to work. But however, I will say I am highly organized, I'm highly motivated, and I know what I want. If you give me a tool and I will use it and it will work. So it's nothing works if you don't use it, right? Nothing works if you don't bring the best version of yourself to it and use it in the best way. You know, if you give me a chisel and I use the blunt end of it, that's never going to help. But I think if people are prepared to show up with authenticity and with commitment, you're giving them the tools to do things they didn't even know were possible, and that's pretty astonishing.
Thank you, Joan. And one key thing too, you came in with experience. You've done listing presentations successfully. You've done buyer presentations successfully. But even if the people don't have those tools, it's so important to know how to do that. And I think what a lot of coaching misses in today's world, in today's market, is a hyper focus on putting all your eggs in one basket and doing it one strict way versus teaching you the soup to nuts concept of how to be successful from attracting the leads to converting them to being able to do your marketing while serving your clients. And you're just nailing it. And I'm so proud of you for that.
Well, thank you. And it's also, as I say, it's really clear to me um, how scalable, adaptable, and flexible these tools are. I mean, really what you give to agents, especially people who don't have my level of confidence. I mean, actually, one of the things that I enjoyed was on a couple of the recordings thinking, oh yeah, that's what I already do. So it was like a validation for me that I was doing it right. And so because those things were familiar to me already from my own personal work, I know for sure that they can benefit people who don't yet have those concepts under their belts. It's like there's so much that you give people from a psychological standpoint, from an emotional EQ standpoint, from a just how to organize your calendar if you don't know how to do that. Like for people who don't already have those skills, I can tell you because I'm already doing those things and I know they work because I've been doing them for years. It's like having somebody give you all that stuff, like have it and be reference it back anytime you want is really amazingly valuable. So yeah.
Thank you, Joan. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. And I'm just so excited to watch you soar because you're only like a couple months out now. I mean, think of what you can do with another 6, 12, 18, 36 months. Like, I'm just so excited to watch you soar.
Yeah, it's great. I'm probably going to have to give up that control and like hire someone to, if it goes the way I think it will. So that'll be my next thing is like learning how to delegate. Which I know is also something you cover. So I'll be going back into the learn that thing that I resisted this time, but I know it's there waiting for me. And that too is great to know that I have the materials to reference back when
Mhm.
I'm ready out of my way with a couple of things where I'm still like, nope. So
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, quality problems, learning how to delegate, quality problem. I
it,
love that.
I love having that problem. It's gonna be so
Awesome. Well, for everybody listening here, thank you so much, Joan, for sharing your story. And if you've felt stuck in your business, if you have been in here for a while and you want to get to that next level and you don't want to have to stab in the dark and you want to make it customized to you, like what Joan wanted, or if you're newer and you don't want to get it wrong right out the gate, go to saralongmarketing.com/session and book a call with my team. And we'll be honest with you. We'll dig into where you are with your business, where you want to be, and what it will take in your specific case to get there, just like we did with Joan before she got into the program. And if we can help you, great, we'll walk you through that. And if not, then we'll part as friends because results matter and we want everybody to be as successful as possible. So thank you so much, Joan, for sharing your story. And we'll talk again soon.
okay. Thanks, Sarah.
Bye.